Davis-Monthan Air Force Base is home to the 355th Wing of the United States Air Force. Located 5 miles south of the state capital of Arizona, Tucson, Davis-Monthan is the grinding stone used to make the tip of the United States Air Force's spear very sharp. Join me as I venture deep into the Sonoran Desert on Sinjin Smythe's Air Show Review, Thunder and Lightning over Arizona. The Wings of Blue parachute team dropped in to say hi. Shockwave just blew out the screens. Kent Pitch proved that naval aviators really are just whining about only having 600 feet to land. Vicki Benzing and her steerman brought you back to where air shows all began. The Desert Rats demonstrated how air and water are both fluids. Knowing the limitations placed on World War II aircraft, both for structural and insurance reasons, the mock dogfights between the Hellcat, the PBY-25, and the Zero was impressive. Most times when you see planes of this age in flying demonstration, they come by gingerly with their engines in a comfortable power setting. These folks were putting the spurs to those birds. As advertised, the crescendo of the air show was the United States Air Force Thunderbirds, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel John Caldwell. Using the Lockheed Martin F-16 Flying Falcon, the Thunderbirds demonstrated what both a modern fighter and modern fighter pilot is capable of. Performing max G turns and formation flying usually at no more than 1 meter apart, the Thunderbirds lived up to any level of hype. Considering most countries' demonstration teams utilize trainers or only have a single aircraft team, the United States Air Force Thunderbirds have a legitimate claim to the throne of the best aerial display team in the world. So does Thunder and Lightning over Arizona deliver when rated on the pitiless rating scale known as Sinjin Smythe's Air Show Review? For logistics, 3.5 out of 5. Thunder and Lightning over Arizona on paper looks like a comparable show to some of the world's greats, including the Paris Air Show, MAX, and the Dubai Show. Unfortunately, from the very beginning, things did not go as you might expect. Even though there appeared plenty of local traffic control, access to Davis-Monthan from Golf Links Road and South Craycroft Road was a nightmare. You could turn left or right easily from Golf Links Road, but trying to go straight in from South Craycroft Road was almost an act of futility. I was hoping this lack of direction might just be an outlier, but it became a disturbing pattern. No one seemed to know where different things were located, and there were large portions of unused space requiring long walks to go from one static display area to the next. Bathroom and potable water were excellent, but not plentiful, and usually quite a distance from all the viewing areas. There was very little in terms of shuttling for non-handicapped patrons. With the great distances involved, it was very difficult to see everything and impossible to experience most things. This may be a little harsh, but with the Thunderbirds hitting cleanup, you're expected to win. Static displays, 4 3/10 out of 5. This was the rating I wrestled with the most. With the combination of heavies brought in from California, the unique historical birds towed in from the boneyard, and the personal aircraft brought in for display, Thunder and Lightning had an incredible collection to appreciate. Why not a 5? Here's my thinking. This is the air show that represents not only Arizona, but the Air Force presence in Arizona. Everyone trains there, yet the notable absences were hard to ignore. No F-35A, no F-15C or E Eagle, no B-2 Spirit, no B-1B Lancer, no E-3 Sentry, no C-37B, no C-40 Clipper, no U-2 Dragon Lady, no CV-22 Osprey. Some of these are nitpicking, and some are ridiculous reaches, but an F-15 would seem like bare bones minimum. I'm not saying let's take a look under the bonnet of the RQ-170 Sentinel or break out the TR-3B Black Manta that doesn't exist. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But when the only fighter that anyone can get near is an F-16, no disrespect to the Warthog community, or one that no longer is in active service in a Tier 1 military, you're not delivering on the true specialness of either the role Davis Monthan or Arizona has on the aviation world. Aerial displays, 4 out of 5. This grade is one where I feel sorry for the performers. It should have been a solid 5. Each of the aerial acts was superb and put their own unique stamp on their part of the day. The problem was the show was never able to get or build any momentum due to the acts in the wrong order or some kind of mechanical breakdown, mainly of the sound system. Numerous acts' sound carts seemed to have difficulty accessing the overall PA. And when the Thunderbirds were delayed, the crowd became visibly annoyed and frustrated for a noticeable amount of time. Seating, 4 out of 5. Seating pricing was reasonable, and even though there was a slight dogleg to the overall flight line, with the exception of some specialty acts like Shockwave, everyone had excellent viewing of the aircraft. While free potable water was available and appreciated, it was a pretty far hike from the show viewing area most times to where the tankers were located. Scheduling, 4.5 out of 5. The schedule was really both notable and originally well timed out, though I would argue that the order was completely misassembled if your goal was to build the tension and energy of the show. But as far as planning and bringing in quality entertainment, really was top notch. Although not completely making up for the lack of a static display, having the F-35 and F-22 fly in the Heritage Flight was really something special. Consider starting to open your parking about a half hour before you open the gates to ease the flow into the show. Then it won't be such a push to totally enjoy your show due to the large distances between the important pieces. Public connections, 3 1/10 out of 5. This one hurt. The airmen throughout the venue and parking control seemed to display two different attitudes. One jovial and very inviting, but at a total loss on what was supposed to happen. One very nice airman actually told me he had no idea where anything was, he was just told to stand there. The other, intense and slightly annoyed to be having to deal with airshow folk. I experienced this type of attitude throughout the day, something that honestly surprised and disappointed me. This was not true of any air crew that I spoke to. But from the unnecessary comment about my bringing 2 sandwiches from the security MP, to the unfamiliarity of where things were located by those supposed to be of assistance, it just was an uncomfortable day that never got on track. So with a final score of 23 4/10 and a distant second place on the Cesar board, it was the Thunder and Lightning over Arizona.